Okay, we had some technical difficulties during the original live lesson. So this is a recording with hopefully no difficulties. I want to make sure that everyone has a clear understanding of how to use Eclipse. So when you first open up Eclipse, you will see this message. And this message just prompts you for your workspace. There is going to be a path already chosen by default. For me, it's in a folder called Users, and then in the folder with my first name, and then another folder called Workspace. This workspace folder is going to contain all of my project files that are created when I use Eclipse. And it's very important that you make note of this location. If for some reason you do not like the default location chosen for your workspace, you can click Browse and use another location. But I'm going to leave the default location. Now I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to use something called the Java perspective. To make sure that you're in the Java perspective, you want to choose Window and then Open Perspective in Java. Now notice there is no Java option. There's Java browsing, which is not what we want. But there is no Java option because I'm already in the Java perspective. But this is a quick little test just so you can make sure that you're in the right perspective. So if you do see Java here, go ahead and click that because that means that the perspective you're in right now is not the Java perspective. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a project. Once I add a project, I will add a file to the project. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to choose Java project and click next. And I'm going to call it Hello World. We are going to create just a simple program that prints Hello World to the screen. Notice there are no spaces in my file name. And I'm going to click Finish. So now I have a project and I need to add a class to that. So I'm going to click here and choose Class. Now a class is the basis for every program in Java. I'm going to click Next. And notice that my source folder is Hello World Source. That should already be there for you. But if for some reason it's not, you're going to want to click Browse, find your project name, and then click on that source folder. Um, I'm going to, right here, give it a name. And the name does not have to be the same as your project name. Sometimes you might have a couple of different classes, and each class will have a different name. I am going to use public static void main. We'll talk about what that means later. But for now, almost all of your classes will have what we call a main method. And we will learn what the main method is. We'll learn what methods are as well as what classes are. But for right now, I want to focus on making sure that you know how to use Eclipse. So I'm going to put in Hello World, check off this, and click Finish. Okay, and now I have um, Hello World, and I have a main method, and right here is where I'll put my code. So I'm going to put some code in here that I've already written. And now I'm going to run my program to see the output. So I click on this green Run button and choose OK. And here's my output, Hello World. Now, what if I were to have an error? Let's say I forgot to put that semicolon in. I know that seems like a small thing, but that actually would cause your program to not run. So I want you to see what output you're going to get when you have an error. So I'm going to click Run again. And notice it tells me I have errors, but I'm going to go ahead and proceed anyway. And right here, instead of my output, I get a description of my error. Now, this is a very clear error message. It's telling me that I'm missing a semicolon. Sometimes the errors are a little bit harder to interpret, but if you follow the directions in the course, you'll usually be able to figure out what your error is. Usually it'll be a word that you misspelled, semicolons. A lot of times you're missing a bracket. Of course, if you need help, always let me know. So now that I fixed that, I can click Run again, and I'm going to get the correct output. So this is basically what we're going to be doing when we're using Eclipse. Remember, we'll create the project first and then the class. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of Eclipse so that I can show you how to zip and submit your work. Now, when I click Run, my work is automatically saved. So if I go to File, you'll notice that Save is grayed out because it's already saved. You can click Save As, and that will allow you to save your work in a different location or with a different file name. So I'm going to go ahead and close my work. Do I want to exit Eclipse? Yes. And now I'm going to show you how to zip your work. So I'm going to come here to the Start menu and choose Computer. Now I have to go to where my workspace is located. So my workspace is located on my C drive, in my users folder, and in this folder, and then in workspace. So right here you see my project. And if I were to go into the project, here's the source folder. And this is the file that actually contains the Java code. But we're not going to just submit the Java file. You're going to submit the whole project. So I'm going to go back into my workspace. As you continue in the class, you will, especially in the second half of the class, for those of you who will take Java Part 2, you will have projects that will have more than one class. So instead of submitting the files individually, you'll just go to your project folder, right-click it, and choose Send to Compressed Zipped Folder. And now I have a file with the same name as my folder, and it has a little zipper icon. And this is the file that you want to submit through the Dropbox. Okay, so this is how you use Eclipse, how you zip your work, and then how to submit it. Now, our next live lesson on Friday, September 19th at 3:30 Eastern Time. But if you have a question, please do not wait until then to ask. You can send me a webmail or you can give me a call. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.